On The Young and the Restless, tomorrow, Tuesday, June 3, 2025, there are more good times at Nikki's party, but plenty of questions arise that need answers. We've got the photo spoilers of what's coming up. Abby and Devin are going to be surprised when they find out that Lily has been invited to Aristotle Dumas' summer home in Nice, and she wants Devin to join her. Will Jack and Diane reveal that they, too, received invitations? Jack loves to tease Diane. Sharon is enjoying being Nick's date and friend. Michael and Lauren talk to Nick, although things are pretty tense since Michael quit working for Victor. Pietro meets Sharon at Nikki's party. Nick was against Chelsea moving in with Adam, but she insisted they would remain platonic. Now, they're not only reunited, but she quit her fashion career to work at Newman Media. Nick feels the need to check in on her, but Chelsea might not be in the mood for unsolicited advice. There was a time when Esther was the only person in town who would give Diane the time of day. She's also always got her ear to everyone's conversations. Is there something that she knows that could help Diane, or does Diane need to talk? Jack knows Victor's style and can easily guess that he'll use Adam and Newman Media to go after Billy. Will Adam tell Jack that Victor is putting him between a rock and a hard place about Billy and Chelsea? Cole returned from Europe very sick, and he still has a cough. Can Victoria get the truth about his health, and is it worse than he is letting on? Kyle made a grand gesture to win over Victor, but Jack knows that he will always be after him, Kyle and Billy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, June 4, reveal that Phyllis Summers will get some enraging Sharon Newman news, while Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott make a decision. For starters, Diane and Jack will consider whether they'll officially accept Aristotle Dumas' party invitation. Since Jack and Diane were going to take a honeymoon anyway, they should be on the same page about making Dumas' bash part of their trip. Over with Phyllis, she'll have an interesting proposal for Nick Newman to mull over. There's a good chance Phyllis' attempt to get her foot in the door with Dumas will fail miserably in Washington, D.C. That could leave Phyllis desperate to score a party invite, so she may push Nick to take her as his +1. Although Phyllis may view this as another path to meeting Dumas and making a pitch to him, there'll be a problem. Nick will presumably admit he already offered to take Sharon as his +1 instead, so that should leave Phyllis fuming. Despite Phyllis' attempt to change Nick's mind, he may refuse to bail on Sharon for his other ex. Even so, Phyllis is awfully determined to have a face-to-face meeting with Dumas, so she may find another way to crash the bash. Other Y and R spoilers say Chelsea Lawson will back Adam Newman into a corner and force him to make a significant choice. Adam will face Chelsea's harsh ultimatum, so this will presumably go back to their Billy Abbott conflict. Chelsea may lay down the law if it looks like Adam's going to surrender to Victor Newman's repeated demands. Since Chelsea doesn't want Adam to use Newman Media for a Billy smear campaign, this could be his last chance to go along with her wishes. Chelsea could quit the company if Adam can't figure out how to handle Victor, so there will be a lot at stake. Will Adam be able to throw Victor off track with another scandal like he talked about? Here are the Young and the Restless spoilers for June 3. When Victor calls Kyle's bluff, Victoria worries about Cole, and Michael and Lauren dance around their problems. On Tuesday, watch for Nikki's birthday celebration to continue. Kyle and Claire have a scheme to present Nikki with a gift that's so impressive that Victor will have no choice but to welcome him into the family and accept his relationship with his granddaughter. Will it work? Victor will call Kyle's bluff, and if Kyle can't deliver on the gift, then he and Claire may never be able to win him over. Kyle is confident that he and Claire are solid, but Victor has enlisted Audra to bring him down. Kyle and Claire have an uphill battle ahead of them. Here are the Young and the Restless spoilers for June 2. When Claire and Kyle pull out all the stops to impress Victor and Nikki, Lily plots to meet Dumas, and Damien asks Audra for a favor. Cole is going to make an appearance at Nikki's party, but that doesn't mean he's feeling 100% better. We did see him appear to be feeling fine when he saw Vicky and Nick at Crimson Lights. But is he fully recovered? On Tuesday's show, watch for Victoria to show concern for Cole. Is Vicky a worrier? Maybe. But Cole is the type of guy who would want to keep his loved ones from worrying about him. Vicky may not be at peace until she sees proof that Cole is feeling better. Despite Michael leaving Victor's employ, he and his wife Lauren attended Nikki's birthday gala. The attorney is stepping into a figurative minefield by sharing the same space with Victor. The mogul is not happy that Michael walked out on him. Michael might do well to avoid direct contact with Victor this week. Watch for the savvy attorney to perhaps stay out of Victor's way by staying on the dance floor with his wife. Even if Victor cuts in, he's going to be facing Lauren, not Michael. Of course, Michael's not only a good dancer, but he's also fast on his feet. If he comes into contact with Victor, Michael will end up doing some fancy footwork. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that 5 June shockers are on the way, so Y&R fans will definitely want to tune in for some can't-miss moments. Some major dramas ahead, so let's talk about the storylines that are about to heat up. For starters, Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott are on the verge of landing in dangerous territory. It sounds like temptation could boil over and leave these former flames in a tight spot. Although Kyle and Audra think they can handle playing each other, they could fall into their own traps if they aren't careful. Will a real betrayal go down and lead to some double heartbreak? Kyle's relationship with Claire Newman could end up at risk along with Audra's romance with Nate Hastings. So stick with us for updates on any lines that'll get crossed. Nick Newman and Sharon Newman will also deal with some messy feelings, especially now that he's asked her to be his +1 at Aristotle Dumas' upcoming party. Could Sharon and Nick make things more complicated by falling into bed together on this trip? Time will tell, but Nick and Sharon will definitely have a hard time figuring out what the true nature of their connection should be. Of course, Dumas Bash in France will set the stage for his true identity to be revealed at last. It looks like Billy Flynn will slide into the role of Kane Ashby as Dumas is unveiled. Lily Winters is sure to flip out and will likely find herself leaning on Damien Kane in the aftermath of Kane's curveball. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman and Cole Howard will likely rush to the altar following Cole's worsening health crisis. This medical ordeal will make Victoria realize just how much she loves Cole, so she'll cling to her future with him, no matter how long it might last. Whether Cole is headed for a grim fate or not, Victoria may be eager to tie the knot, since she'll have a big conversation with him about what's next. Finally, obsessed Billy Abbots will rock the boat with Sally Spectra. Between figuring out Dumas' true agenda and going up against the Newmans, Billy will seem fixated on all the wrong things as far as Sally's concerned. Although Sally will just want to focus on getting Abbott Communications off the ground and making it the best it can be, Billy's vengeful side will derail her plans. As Sally grows increasingly frustrated, her relationship with Billy could be on shaky ground. Tensions on the Young and the Restless hit a boiling point as Diane and Ashley gear up for another clash. While Jack has embraced Diane into the Abbott fold, Ashley continues to throw shade. Even Susan Walters admits Ashley has every reason to hold that grudge. Diane may be trying to keep the peace, but Ashley's icy glare still cuts deep. Susan Walters recently opened up about Diane's ongoing struggle to be accepted by Jack's sister. Even now, Diane feels she's walking on eggshells around her. Years ago, Ashley humiliated Diane in front of Jack. Diane bit her tongue back then, trying to win Jack's heart. But as Walters recalls, Ashley was really ugly to Diane. That kind of treatment isn't easily forgotten. Diane sucked it up once, but she might not do it again. Ashley's resentment runs deep, and she's not ready to trust Diane's so-called transformation. Diane wants to show she's changed, but Ashley can't help seeing her old rival every time they meet. No matter how hard Diane tries, she may never win Ashley's approval. Despite the tension, Diane continues to play the loyal wife. She believes in the new version of herself, and Jack believes in her too. Walter shared that Diane isn't faking it. Around Jack, her love and warmth are real. But with Ashley, it's a different story. Diane knows Jack wants unity in the family. She tries to be civil, but she won't keep taking punches forever. Diane still has claws, and Ashley might just bring them out again. Walters laughed about how Diane still reacts sharply outside the Abbott home, especially around Nikki. But here's the shocker. Even Susan Walters admits she'd side with Ashley if she were in her shoes. That's a big deal. It shows just how deeply Diane's past still lingers in Genoa City. The Abbott family might be in for a storm. The Young and the Restless drama is building fast with Diane and Ashley at the center. The claws could come out any minute, and we'll be watching it all unfold on Soap Opera Daily. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that 4 forgiveness pleas are looming. These characters will be forced to grovel hard in the coming weeks, so let's talk about their betrayals and what it'll take to repair the damage. First, we've got Maria Copeland, who did some horrible thing on a business trip that she's been reluctant to tell Tessa Porter about. The evidence points to Mariah cheating on Tessa, but she's clearly done something wrong. Mariah feels like her betrayal could derail her relationship with Tessa, and once the truth comes out, you can bet it will. Tessa and Mariah's marriage could end up at risk, so Mariah will definitely have some groveling to do as she tries to fix this. Kyle Abbott is another character who seems poised to seek forgiveness in the not-too-distant future. And our spoilers say Kyle's scheme for Audra Charles could backfire, especially since she's scheming against him too. Audra and Kyle are going to make some huge mistakes along the way, so Kyle could end up paying $5 million to Victor Newman for breaking Claire Newman's heart if his deal moves forward. Regardless, Kyle loves Claire and won't let their relationship go without a fight. Even if Kyle betrays Claire somehow, he'll inevitably go all in on trying to win her back. As for Audra, she'll also have some explaining to do. Nate Hastings will be outraged when he gets updates on the real terms of Audra's agreement with Victor, which included her plot to split up Kyle and Claire. Of course, if Audra genuinely betrays Nate as part of that plan, that's going to make things even worse. Audra may have her work cut out for her as she asks Nate to forgive her deception and get past how far she went with Kyle. Next, Kane Ashby should have a forgiveness plea in his future as well. If Aristotle Dumas turns out to be a Kane recast played by Billy Flynn as expected, then Lily Winters is in for the shock of her life. Once Lily wraps her head around the big reveal, that's when her fury will come. Kane seemingly wants to get back together with Lily, but he's definitely going about it the wrong way and will provoke her wrath. Lily and Kane may have a reunion ahead of them sooner or later, but Kane will have to fight for another chance and get out of the doghouse first. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that these forgiveness pleas are coming up on the CBS soap, so stay tuned for all the stunning news and betrayal hurdles. Gloria Bardwell is poised to bring more than just mischief to the Young and the Restless. While fans have long appreciated her for her humor and unpredictable energy, her latest return may carry far greater implications, especially for Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins. Back in 2017, viewers were stunned when Jack and Gloria took their flirtation to a surprising new level. Their brief romantic entanglement, though steamy and scandalous, ended amicably. Yet many believe that chapter was never truly closed. With Gloria back in town, unresolved feelings and past connections may soon resurface. This time, Gloria's presence could pose a real threat to Jack and Diane's fragile relationship. The possibility of a long-held secret between Jack and Gloria, whether it be a forgotten affair, a hidden scandal, or even a past pregnancy scare, might unravel everything Diane has worked to rebuild. Diane has recently managed to restore ties with Jack and win Kyle's trust, but any hidden truths could jeopardize it all. Jack's well-known tendency to avoid conflict might lead him to withhold key information, believing it's best to maintain harmony. However, should Diane uncover anything that links Jack to Gloria, especially if it involves betrayal, her reaction could be explosive. Gloria, ever the opportunist, would likely thrive on the fallout. A confrontation between Diane and Gloria is a dramatic possibility fans are eager to witness. Diane has spent months trying to repair her image and stabilize her relationships, but Gloria could dismantle that progress with a single flirtation or revelation. Her ability to stir chaos with subtle manipulation makes her return a significant turning point. Moreover, while Gloria might seem focused on helping Michael and Lauren reconcile, her real objective may lie elsewhere, rekindling her connection with Jack. This storyline has the potential to reignite old flames and expose buried secrets, injecting fresh energy into the ongoing drama in Genoa City. As tensions rise, viewers can expect a surge of classic soap opera elements: jealousy, deception, emotional confrontations, and relationship turmoil. Gloria's return isn't just nostalgic. It's a catalyst for the chaos fans of The Young and the Restless crave. The Young and the Restless scoop for Tuesday, June 3, reveals Cole Howard will suffer a relapse. Also coming up, Kyle Abbott will make a multi-million-dollar offer to Victor Newman. Plus, Claire Newman and Victoria Newman will be worried, and Sharon Newman will be thrilled by Nick Newman's invitation. I&R spoilers tease Nikki Newman's birthday party will continue. Claire will tell Kyle his toast to Nikki was beautiful. She'll add that her grandfather had to have been impressed. Kyle will say he doubts it. Claire will point out she tried to poison her entire family, and now Victor has accepted her. But Kyle will say she's blood, whereas he's an Abbott. However, he'll tell his girlfriend there's still one more move he wants to make to try to sway Victor. Over at Victor and Nikki's table, they'll praise. Nikki will ask what it would take to give Kyle a chance. Meanwhile, Chelsea Lawson will tell Adam Newman she may have found a scandal to distract Victor from attacking Billy Abbott. She'll ask if he saw the daggers Victor was shooting at Kyle. Then the couple will gossip about Sharon and Nick. Over by the buffet, Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott will tell Abby Newman and Devin Winters they'd love them to come by the house to see the renovations. Then they'll engage in some idle chit-chat about Aristotle Dumas and his party in France. Eventually, Michael Baldwin will approach Diane and he'll tell her she looks stunning. And Diane will congratulate him for leaving Victor's employ. "I know you did it for Jack, and it makes me love you even more." After they finish dancing, Nick and Sharon will discuss his invite to Dumas' party in France. "You want to be my +1?" He'll ask Sharon. "Are you serious?" Suddenly, the party will be interrupted when Cole gets dizzy. Victoria will have to help him over to a chair, and she'll ask if someone can bring water. Then Cole will start to pull at his tie, as he has a coughing fit. When Victoria suggests calling 911, Cole will say he just needs some air. So she and Claire will help Cole up the stairs. Kyle will approach Victor and Nikki and say he hopes Cole will be okay. Then he'll ask for a moment with Victor alone. "There's nothing to talk about," Victor will reply. But when Nikki asks if he'll do it for her, he'll agree. They'll head up to the GCAC bar and Kyle will offer Victor a deal. "What could you possibly have to offer me?" the mustache will ask. Kyle will say he'll sign a contract. If he hurts Claire in any way, he'll break things off, and then Claire will walk downstairs. "I think my dad is having a relapse," she'll say to them. "He's thinking he's contagious, but my mom won't leave him alone." Victor will say he'll let Nikki know what's going on. He'll add that he'll consider Kyle's proposal. What proposal? Claire will ask Kyle after Victor leaves. Kyle will reply that he made him an offer he hopes he doesn't refuse. Finally, Victor will return to the jazz club and tell Nikki Cole can hardly breathe and he's got a high fever. She'll ask him if he thinks it's something more serious than the flu. It almost seems like the beginnings of pneumonia, he'll reply. I hope that is not the case. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y and our Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comment section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. At a lavish birthday celebration for Nikki Newman, what began as an evening of elegance and champagne toasts in Genoa City turned into a devastating spectacle of betrayal. The grand event, meticulously planned to honor Nikki, unraveled when Aristotle Dumas delivered a bombshell that left the Newman family reeling. Midway through the festivities, Aristotle took the stage, not to offer a toast, but to reveal a DNA test result that exposed a long-buried secret. Nicholas Newman is not the biological son of Victor Newman. The announcement, backed by notarized documents, stunned the room into silence, with Nikki's wine glass crashing to the floor as the weight of the truth hit. Nick, frozen in disbelief, grappled with the collapse of his identity as a Newman, while Nikki and Victor faced the public unraveling of their family's foundation. The revelation wasn't just a personal blow, it was a calculated strike. Whispers of tension had already permeated the evening, hinting at something darker beneath the surface. Aristotle's chilling delivery suggested a deeper motive, possibly tied to corporate rivalries or personal vendettas. Victor, known for his iron grip on power, was left humiliated, suspecting a targeted attack but unable to pinpoint the orchestrator. Nick's world crumbled as he questioned his place in the family he fought to protect. Every moment of seeking Victor's approval now seemed tainted by an unspoken truth. Nikki, overwhelmed by guilt and shock, confronted the possibility that her own secrets, perhaps a long-ago affair, contributed to this crisis. Victor, meanwhile, admitted to learning of the DNA results a month prior but kept silent, hoping to contain the fallout. The aftermath promises chaos for Genoa City. Nick faces an existential crisis, questioning his identity and true parentage. Nikki grapples with decades of hidden truths, while Victor vows to uncover who engineered this public betrayal. As loyalties shift and secrets surface, the Newman dynasty stands vulnerable, with one question looming. If Nick isn't Victor's son, who is his father, and why was this truth concealed for so long? In the latest developments of Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott is determined to secure a place in Victor Newman's world of power and influence. Known for his relentless ambition, Kyle devises a daring plan to prove his worth, understanding that only calculated risks and unwavering commitment can earn Victor's respect. At the GCAC bar, Kyle exudes confidence, masking his strategic intentions behind a polished exterior as he faces Victor, a seasoned player who eliminates those who show weakness. To gain Victor's trust, Kyle proposes a bold prenuptial agreement, a legally binding contract that promises severe consequences, leaving town and facing legal accountability if he betrays or harms Claire. This move showcases Kyle's willingness to stake his reputation and assets, offering up to $5 million in compensation if he fails Claire. However, Victor remains skeptical, valuing tangible guarantees like money and power over promises, forcing Kyle to navigate a high-stakes game where every move is scrutinized. Meanwhile, Claire grapples with disillusionment, realizing she may be a pawn in Kyle's pursuit of power. Her belief in love is shaken as she questions whether Kyle's feelings are genuine or merely a means to access Victor's influence. Victor uses Kyle's actions to teach Claire about trust, highlighting the fragility of relationships in a world driven by ambition and control. Caught between his aspirations and the risk of losing Claire, Kyle faces mounting pressure, aware that a single misstep could cost him everything. At Nikki's birthday party, tensions rise further. Kyle's thoughtful gift, a sparkling bracelet, signals his desire to integrate into the Newman family, but Victor sees through the gesture, wary of Kyle's ambitions. The celebration takes a somber turn when Cole, visibly unwell, sparks concern. His persistent cough, fever, and pallor raise fears of a serious condition, possibly pneumonia, prompting worry from Victoria and Claire. Despite Cole's attempts to downplay his symptoms, the atmosphere shifts as the family grapples with uncertainty. As Victor observes, Nikki urges him to balance power with compassion, while Claire grows guarded, questioning Kyle's motives and her role in this intricate power struggle. Kyle, meanwhile, wrestles with his choices, torn between ambition and love. The story unfolds as a complex battle of loyalty, betrayal, and personal growth, leaving each character to confront their limits and desires in a world where trust is hard-earned and love is tested by calculated risks. The envelope arrived on Lily Winter's desk like a ghost from a forgotten life, white linen, thick and elegant, sealed in wax that smelled faintly of amber and sea salt. There was no company logo, no familiar family crest, only a golden quill crossed over a silver key, an unfamiliar insignia that whispered mystery. Inside, a single name, Aristotle Dumas. The card, formal and cryptic, extended an invitation to his private summer estate in Nice, France. For many in Genoa City, it was a curiosity. For some, it was a mystery worth chasing. But for Lily, it was something far more chilling. It was a summons, not from a stranger, but from a ghost she had tried to bury. The name Aristotle Dumas had hovered in the shadows for months. He was a rumor, a myth, a force whispered about in boardrooms and behind closed doors. He was linked to high-level tech takeovers, media manipulation, and offshore holdings. Genoa City's elite either feared or revered him, but no one knew him. Lily suspected the truth before she ever saw the proof. There was something in the rumors, something that echoed the voice of a man she'd once loved. That man was Kane Ashby, her ex-husband, the father of her children, the man who disappeared without a trace, leaving behind broken trust and unanswered questions. He was Aristotle Dumas, and he wasn't just back. He was orchestrating something that had entangled everyone in her world. The revelation didn't come from Kane. It came from Amanda Sinclair. With her usual calm precision, Amanda laid the evidence on Lily's desk, a signature on confidential European trade documents. Young and the Restless sees poor Cole Howard has taken a drastic turn for the worse this week with his health, and that could lead to a fast-tracked wedding for Claire Grace Newman and Kyle Abbott if Cole's illness is fatal. So at Nikki Newman's party, a few things happened that are pretty important. First, Kyle made two big gestures to get Victor Newman's approval. The first was the very nice toast he made to Nikki, and then the charm bracelet Kyle got her. It impressed Nikki, but Victor was quite smirky about it. He seemed to think the whole thing was performative. Second was that Kyle circled around to talk to him man to man and said he would sign a prenup. That is a document stating if Kyle breaks Claire's heart, he would pay a $5 million fine to Victor and Kyle would also leave town. I mean, that seems pretty ironclad. And Victor tells Nikki about it later in the evening. And I'm sure Kyle's going to tell Claire this week as well. So also at the party, Cole showed up and they were talking about his recovery and how things were looking better. He had been in quarantine at the GCAC, but once he got better and apparently wasn't contagious. Then Victoria Newman asked him to move back to her house, you know, the tack house at the ranch. But then at the party, Cole had a huge setback. He was talking with Victoria and Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson Newman. But then all of a sudden Cole couldn't stop coughing, and then he couldn't breathe. And then Victoria and Claire were really alarmed when Cole collapsed. So Claire runs off real quick to tell Kyle and Victor that her dad Cole has relapsed. Looks like he's contagious, so Victor, Eric thinks it sounds like pneumonia and offers to send his private physician to check on Cole. But things definitely look dire for Victoria's boyfriend this week on Young and the Restless. So it could be pneumonia or some more serious disease that Cole picked up in his travels working for Newman's publishing division. Or it could be some respiratory disorder that's really dangerous, maybe even some cancer that was undiagnosed, or some other infectious disease he's picked up somewhere. Hopefully, Claire and Victoria get some answers soon, but Cole's health is clearly going in the wrong direction. Claire's dad getting worse instead of better, and things not looking good for Cole means big changes ahead. So we've got two storylines that seem to be on a collision course. First, of course, is Kyle trying to prove to Victor that he really loves Claire and is the best man for her. And of course, second is Cole's health crisis. So if Claire finally realizes there's nothing she or Kyle can say or do to prove to Victor they belong together, then Claire might finally take the right attitude of, oh well, you're not going to be happy anyway, so I'm just going to do what makes me happy. So Claire may just give up on seeking Victor's approval of her and Kyle. Plus, once Claire finds out Kyle offered to pay a $5 million penalty for breaking her heart, that also could be another tipping point where she's like, okay, this is the guy for me. And another little red flag was that Pro, the party planner, mentioned that he also does weddings, and he told Claire that he thinks Kyle is really cute, and he does weddings. That's just another little hint. Maybe, just maybe, Claire and Kyle are going to be saying I do. But Claire made it clear to Kyle she's not pressing on that point. She's not in a rush. And at the same time, Nikki asked Victor to please accept Kyle and Claire's relationship, basically as an ultimate birthday present for her. Victor just kissed Nikki, but he's not telling her that he'll accept them. But again, Claire may be at the point where she may decide to marry Kyle with or without Victor's acceptance. Because if Cole has a fatal disease, this could be Claire's only chance to have her dad walk her down the aisle as a bride. And because of her crazy great-aunt Jordan Howard, Claire spent most of her life without her parents Cole and Victoria, and thinking the worst of them, thinking they rejected her. So, if things do take a bad turn and Kyle is really going to die, that's going to change everything, including how Claire handles Victor's acceptance or rejection of what she wants in life. Because if Cole gets a deadly diagnosis and only has a few weeks or a few months to live, I could see Claire wanting to say I do to Kyle before she says goodbye to her father. It will probably mean a lot to Cole, also because Claire is the only child he's got, and at this point, the only child he will ever have. So no matter the circumstance, I can guarantee Victor will not approve of Claire marrying Kyle. Period. Not ever. In his mind, Jack Abbott and Kyle and Billy Abbott and the other male Abbotts are all garbage people. He had grudging respect for John, but for the rest of them, he hates them. Victor's wrath against the Abbott men is unhinged, is unprovoked, and it's endless these days and a little exhausting. But since the rest of the Newman family will support Claire and Kyle along with the Abbotts, Claire might decide she's going to be Mrs. Kyle Abbott very soon because Claire asked him to do it. Kyle went above and beyond to win Victor's approval. Even though he knew it was always a lost cause, they just need to get Claire to see it. And by they, I mean Victoria and Cole with some help from Kyle. Once Claire sees that chasing Victor's approval is an utter waste of time, she may just start planning that wedding. And I'm sure Kyle would be very happy to put a ring on her finger. Basically, this party to me was Claire giving Victor one last test to show he could behave like a civilized person, and the mustache failed. And it was a test for Kyle to see if he would make the effort. He did. He passed. Victor failed. So later this week, according to official Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria gets bad news. And it seems likely it's about Cole and his health crisis. So if Victoria and Claire find out Cole doesn't have long to live, that could be a game changer that helps Kyle get what he wants. which is a happily ever after with the woman he loves. So I could totally see him proposing to Claire and saying, "Let's get married while your dad can be there to celebrate with us." Cole would probably like that. Victoria would be on board with it. Even Nikki would understand. And of course, the rest of the Newmans are very pro Claire and Kyle anyway. And of course, Victor would probably accuse Kyle of being manipulative and using Cole's illness to get what he wants, which is Claire. That doesn't mean it won't happen and they won't get married. So we'll have to wait to see what Victoria finds out later this week about Cole and just how bad it is. And then from there, we'll probably have a better idea of whether Claire and Kyle are going to fast-track the next stage of their relationship and walk down the aisle. The hushed whispers in the corridors of Newman Enterprises grew louder, swirling like a gathering storm. A shadow, once thought to be a formidable new threat, began to take on a familiar, yet entirely transformed, shape. In Genoa City, a place where secrets are buried deep but never truly die, the shocking truth about Aristotle Dumas was about to be unleashed, revealing not just a new adversary, but the stunning rebirth of a man from the past, ready to rewrite the very rules of power and love. The Young and the Restless is poised for an earthquake of epic proportions as spoilers reveal the monumental secret behind the enigmatic Aristotle Dumas. The return of Kane Ashby has always been a topic of fervent discussion in Genoa City, but this time, it's far more than a simple comeback. With the shocking revelation that Aristotle Dumas is, in fact, Kane Ashby reborn, and with the talented Billy Flynn stepping into the role once famously embodied by Daniel Goddard, the atmosphere in Genoa City is being stirred by a strange and challenging wind. This signals a period of profound change for the entire city, where seemingly unshakable forces will now face a completely new opponent, wise, calm, yet no less fierce. Kane Ashby's return is not merely about reviving old memories. It's about laying the foundation for far-reaching changes that will reshape the very picture of power and emotions in Genoa City. The initial signs emerged subtly, with leaked wardrobe photos hinting at Kane's presence, gradually culminating in the undeniable truth that speculation had become a startling reality. What makes this return truly special is the nature of the character, a youthful, reinvented version with profound inner depth and a past that has never truly settled. The powerful combination of Billy Flynn's dynamic personality and the indelible shadow left by Daniel Goddard imbues Kane with a completely different shade, more modern, edgy, and unequivocally ready to face any challenge. There are 4 compelling reasons why Kane's return will serve as a powerful catalyst, ushering Genoa City into a new era where old rules can be shattered and power relationships are put to the most severe test. Firstly, Kane has now transformed into a true business tycoon. He possesses sharp strategic thinking, immense ambition, and an indomitable spirit that never backs down from a challenge. If before he struggled between reputation, love, and the doubts of his past, a more resolute Kane now stands tall, understanding his own value and daring to engage in the high-stakes game of power. This newfound maturity elevates Kane's position, fundamentally altering Genoa City's power landscape. He is no longer an outsider or a mere reserve card. He has become a central figure, a tycoon of sufficient stature to directly confront titans like Victor Newman. For the first time in many years, Victor is truly pushed into a defensive position by an opponent who is not only wise, but also possesses an abundance of ambition and ability. Genoa City has never witnessed Victor so unsettled, but facing this new incarnation of Kane, everything can change. This sense of being challenged electrifies the city's atmosphere, sparking an unprecedented wave of power struggles, while also renewing the fighting spirit of the veteran bosses. Chapter 2: An Ideal Beyond Ambition. Rebuilding Family and Honor. The second undeniable aspect of Kane's return is the profound ideal he carries within himself. to rebuild the very concepts of family and honor in Genoa City. In the past, Kane struggled with mistakes and paid a heavy price, often stemming from his inability to define his place amidst the tangled relationships and overwhelming expectations of his relatives. This time, he returns not only with the courage of a shrewd businessman, but also with the mindset of someone who deeply desires to protect, build, and heal old wounds. He observes all the changes in the city through the eyes of an experienced sage, realizing that only tolerance and perseverance can truly preserve good values for future generations. With this powerful philosophy, Kane becomes an inspiration for Genoa City's younger generations, helping them understand that true power lies not solely in financial might, but also in the ability to preserve, support, and forgive loved ones. Many young characters begin to view Kane as a distinct example, not cold like Victor, not scheming like Adam, but a harmonious balance between reason and emotion. He is rebuilding the image of a family man, ready to admit mistakes, face the consequences, and stand up to protect what he loves until the very end. Kane has ignited a wave of healthy competition in a business environment long accustomed to dirty games. With transparent methods, investments in clean projects, and a focus on community benefit, Kane is steadily earning the trust of shareholders, partners, and even employees who once harbored skepticism towards him. He fearlessly confronts large corporations, but instead of resorting to underhanded tactics, he chooses fair confrontation, utilizing intelligence and courage to overcome all challenges. This unwavering fairness has created a positive ripple effect in the Genoa City business community, compelling competitors to adapt their strategies and abandon trivial tricks if they wish to remain in the game. Kane Ashby returns with an entirely different status than before. He is a true tycoon, having spent years honing his skills in the fiercest business arenas. No longer a man who merely flees from the past or seeks forgiveness, the current Kane is a cold, brave, and resourceful warrior, ready to deploy all resources to assert his position and protect what belongs to him. The wealth, influence, and particularly the secrets he has amassed during his absence have transformed Kane into a force not to be underestimated. This means anyone who once considered him a pawn or a weak man will now pay the price for their oversight. Genoa City is now on the brink of being completely upended as Kane's strategic moves begin to take effect. Buy vitamins and supplements. Thirdly, Kane's return has sparked a wave of innovation in terms of business strategy. While traditional powerhouses like Newman Enterprises, Jebot, and Chancellor Winters often remain entrenched in outdated thinking, Kane introduces bold, modern, flexible, and creative business models. His projects extend beyond conventional oil and gas or fashion, venturing into technology, clean energy, and venture capital, fields ripe with potential but also inherent risks. This audacious approach positions Kane as a symbol of change for many young entrepreneurs, igniting a spirit of competition, innovation, and daring across the entire city. Under Kane's guidance, numerous small companies once threatened by large corporations are finding renewed hope, receiving support for sustainable development, thereby enhancing the diversity and dynamism of Genoa City's business landscape.